Hi guys, this is Sam, and this is my Keurig marketing plan. Starting with company background, I'm sure that most of you have probably used a Keurig before. It's pretty simple. You put in a pod, you press a button, and you've got coffee in under a minute. That's the joy of single-serve brewers, and that's what Keurig is so good at. Keurig was founded back in 1981, and the K-Cup and the machines that Keurig is known for today actually launched in 1992 for office use. They became more widespread and more well known in 2004 when homebrewers hit the market. And then in 2018, Keurig ended up merging with Dr. Pepper Snapple to now be known as Keurig Dr. Pepper. Their advantages are they have trusted brand partners and they have a lot of availability on both retail and online stores. Moving on to their industry and to the industry description, the coffee pod market is pretty large and competitive. Globally, coffee pods are worth about $35 billion, and Keurig holds roughly about 55% of the US market. They face a lot of pressure from their main competitors, Starbucks and Espresso, though, because they're seen as a more uh, premium brand, and from the in-store brands, which end up cutting prices on their K pods because they can. So Keurig has to end up reacting to that and lowering their own K cup prices, as well as some problems with changing consumer preferences because consumers are moving more towards a sustainable attitude, and therefore the single-use plastic K cups is not attracting many of those people. As far as product strategy, Keurig does a pretty good job already, but they need to keep the variety and convenience front and center just across both their brewers and their pods. They should continue focusing on their iced coffee brewers because that demand is growing as demand for iced coffee is growing. And as far as the sustainability thing that I talked about on the last slide, they're actually working on that with the introduction of K rounds, which are a compostable version of the K pods. They don't use any plastic and are fully biodegradable. So hopefully that makes it easier for the people who are more reluctant to, the consumers that are more reluctant to join Keurig due to their sustainability problems, to join Keurig and possibly buy some K rounds. Their pricing strategy is pretty simple. Keurig is, and keep their pricing simple. Their basic brewers are pretty cheap because they get their money from people buying the K cups, not from people buying the machines themselves usually. But the more expensive brewers, the more premium ones, are more expensive because they come with bigger, more features like bigger tanks and temperature control and the iced coffee settings like I was talking about earlier. They have auto delivery, which provides a lot of value to their more loyal customers, about 25% off on most of their pod orders and free shipping for all those pod orders. And right now, Keurig offers a very, very wide variety of different pod sizes and packs for people to try out. They could either get a small pack so they can try out a flavor or two, or you could buy a bigger pack to show more value due to economies of scale and keep your customers loyal and happy because they're buying cheaper pods. Keurig does a really good job on their distribution and price. They're really easy to buy across, pretty much anywhere. I mean, Amazon, Walmart, anywhere where you can buy, uh, a simple kettle, you can buy a Keurig. The only thing that they need to do is continue to maintain their stock levels and make sure that their shelf presentation remains clean in retail shops. And because Keurig is actually vertically integrated in a lot of their in manufacturing, they actually have plenty of speed and reliability across their supply chain and are less prone to disruption, which is another pro for Keurig. Keurig's promotion strategy is pretty simple, and I think that it should remain the same. They have one clear line, usually carried along TV, aisle, site, email. It usually consists of like a quick brew or a picture of a quick brew, and then just a next step, which is like, come and buy it, right? And every touch point that Keurig has with the consumer should end up matching the product that the consumer wants to the place where they should be able to buy it, whether that would be links or whatever. But as far as traditional components goes, Keurig already uses short TV stops and spots and in-store displays. They just need to stick with this approach and make sure that their ads stay quick and focused and show the convenience of using a Keurig machine and pod. And the stuff in their marketing in retail stores, the message should clearly repeat the prices, show how easy it is to use the brewers, and show the brewers right next to the pods, showing the variety of pods that you can get when you buy a Keurig machine. As far as digital, short videos that link a Keurig product to a matching product page is all that really needs to be done. As well as maybe using some behavior-based email with refill reminders and one related flavor suggestion based on user preferences. That would be the best way to utilize digital components further than what they're doing currently to make it so they can continue to grow. So some general recommendations is just using that short phrase everywhere so people connect it. Growing their subscriptions with their auto pay with user timing. What I mean by this is by sending refills when people actually need them, not just on a set schedule like they currently do with auto delivery. And the last thing they should do is continue to keep K rounds visible so people can see the progress on sustainability. As far as the execution goes, Keurig has already done a lot of this very, very well. So all I would say is just make sure that TV and their PR is in focus bursts during peak shopping weeks, so they're not wasting resources during times where it's not worthwhile to actually go after these consumers. In stores, continue to put brewers next to pods, repeat the same line, make it simple, make it consistent. And as far as the digital marketing goes, just make sure that the consumer can go from seeing the ad to buying it as quick as possible. That is the thing. How they can measure making sure that this is all working is just tracking the subscription growth, the repeat purchases, and the seasonal sell-through, as well as just seeing eventually if that when K rounds release, whether or not people end up adopting them as a alternative to the K pods. Make sure that they're measuring the effectiveness of everything by making sure that sales, whether sales increase or decrease, and just tracking the results from views and clicks through the actual purchases and refills, and moving the budget towards what's getting results. So competitor response and adjustments. I would expect that their competitors would end up trying to push lower prices, especially the store brands, and Starbucks and Espresso to continue to push the premium and to continue to focus on sustainability over Keurig. I would say Keurig just needs to respond with making sure that they show the visible value through their bundles, their subscriptions, and by making continuing steady progress on K rounds. And I would say just if a channel underperforms, reweight budget towards the subscriptions and seasonal drivers and the things that work. And Keurig should be doing fine. So there's all my references, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.